Hey everybody, so in this time of transition, I thought that I would collate a few tips and tricks for how to work from home and for you, how to do school from home since this is not our natural habitat. So, tip number one is to make a schedule. So, I actually posted the schedule on the left. It is on my wall at home for my kids. And it's important that you make a schedule and that you try to stick with it as best as possible and try not to stray too far from it. So if you look at my schedule, like it's pretty well laid out and there are clear times when we're doing things. Sometimes those things don't happen. But the one that I really stick with is when we wake up and how our wake up routine goes so that there's always we're starting as close to when we would normally wake up. Finding a structure that's close to what they did at school was key for our success because all of a sudden I'm homeschooling two kids that I've never homeschooled. And so I wanted to keep their structure as close as possible to what they're used to because it would make it easier for them. And it's made it easier for me too. I also make sure to build in brain breaks and I have food at normal times. So we wake up and do breakfast and then we go on a walk, and then we do English, and then we take a brain break with board games. We have a lot of board games. And then we clean up, and then we make lunch. And so then we have quiet time, which for them means nap time for the little one, and reading and puzzles for my 5-year-old, and then math, like really structured to how their day would be normally. I think it's really important for you guys to figure out what that looks like for you and try to stick with it. Setting an alarm, getting up, it'll make you feel like the world is a little bit more normal and it's something that you can control. Tip number two is to make a plan and stick to it. So I don't just mean the schedule, but I also mean like a plan for your day. You all know that I love a good to-do list, and I think it's really important that you guys start doing that too. Figure out how you're going to make it all work and how you're going to spend your time during your day. So if you know that you're going to get up at 8 and you're going to get yourself a cup of coffee and then you're going to sit down and get to work, well then what is that going to look like? Which class are you going to start with? You have a lot of freedom in what you're doing right now, which is kind of a fun thing to play around with. Do you want to do the classes that you struggle the most with first? Do you do the ones that are easiest and kind of work your way up? I'm better in the morning than I am as the afternoon comes around. My attention span gets less and less, and so I find that I do my most difficult tasks in the morning. I did the same thing with my son. So his most difficult task is English. Yep, that's my life. And so I made sure that we did like the English stuff first and math, which he's really good at later in the day. So I prioritized my plan. And so I think that you guys should do that too, is prioritize things. If you find that you can't stick with your plan and what you're doing, figure out why. Like I mentioned, the time of day thing already, but then are there distractions that are keeping you from things? Are you hungry? Are you eating because you're bored? Like, what is going on, and try to just be really reflective and make some modifications as you go. The next thing would be to mitigate distractions. So, of course, I have two very real distractions in my day right now. My daughter Ellie on the left and my son Finn on the right. And of course, they are big distractions to me getting work done at certain times during the day. So, for me, I have to plan my work time around when they are napping, when they have quiet time, or when my husband is done with work, or when he's doing bedtime like right now so that I can get some work done. Turning off notifications will be big for you guys. Setting alarms and timers are big too. Making sure that if you are doing something you really don't like to do, like when we do school with Finn, I set a timer on my watch and it's for 30 minutes and we do 30 minutes of work and then we stop and we take a break. So figure out what you can do. Put yourself on do not disturb for certain hours of the day maybe so that your phone isn't constantly buzzing. Take your watch off. Whenever my watch buzzes, I always stop and look to see what's going on. It's just an automatic response. So something to think about. Recognize what the distractions are and build it into your schedule. Like, don't try to fight what you are naturally doing necessarily, but try to make a system that works within what's already going on in your life. Maybe you have parents at home, maybe you don't, maybe you have younger siblings at home, maybe you don't. All of those things need to kind of get planned into your day to manage those distractions. Tip number 4, communicate your plans. So my kids are really aware of what the schedule is. We go to the schedule every single time that we don't know what we're doing. We have a clock posted next to the schedule so that we know what time it is because we're learning how to read the clock. So for you guys, since you are not 5 and learning how to tell time, tell your friends and parents what your plan is so that you have some accountability. Maybe even make plans as a class. Like, what do you think that you as sophomores and your friends really need to do when, so that there's some accountability, and also then you will be messaging each other during those times. And then make sure you know what your reward is. I think it's really big to be reward based, whatever that happens to be. For my kids, it's screen time. For me, it's screen time. I get to go watch an episode of this, or I get to go do that. I get to go on my run. And so figure out what that thing is that you want to be able to work into your schedule, and then make that your reward. Last thing, dedicated workspace. So I don't typically work at home, and so I don't have a desk at home. My husband does because he works from home 1 day a week, though he is working at home indefinitely at this point. So I actually pulled out this old laptop board. You can buy them on Amazon for cheap. But it gives me a hard space to work on, and I have everything in my laptop bag that I'm going to need for when I'm working. So whether that's a book or pad of paper or headphones, make sure that you have it all together. Power cords, make sure that wherever you are, your power cord is there, your pen is there, a notebook, and that you've got good lighting. If you have all of the essentials in one place, you won't be constantly getting up and getting distracted by what's going on around you. So hopefully those 5 tips will help you as you're transitioning to this new thing. I'm hoping that this first day went well for you, and that day 2, which you're going to be starting soon, goes well too. So just know that I'm thinking about you guys, and I miss you all, and I hope you're all doing really well, and I hope you're finding success. And if you need anything, I will be posting office hours soon once we figure out the WebEx thing, which is how we're going to be doing video conferencing. I'll probably be doing video conferencing during quiet time at my house, so it may not always just be me, but try to figure out a time when I can be on there that's dedicated for you all, because I do want to be there for you. So many prayers, much love. Talk to you soon.